This guy has been lights out.
Just continue to go out there and have fun.
This kid can play.
Blue Jays are in business here.
We got our ace going.
That was just filthy.
You see them going hard just like they always do.
One of the fun parts about the postseason, you never know who's going to be a hero. Sun's out in Tampa Bay. And across the bay in St. Pete, the Trop awaits on a sunny day on a late afternoon start. The 2020 American League Wild Card Series on TBS is presented by Hand-Cooked Tires. Inside the Trop, this is Game 2 of this Wild Card Series. Tampa Bay, AL East champs, the 1 seed. The Blue Jays, the 8 seed. Tampa Bay, a close win yesterday. Hi, everybody. I'm Rich Waltz in St. Pete. Across the glass is Jimmy Rollins.
How you doing, Rich?
Yeah, I'm good. After yesterday, really good. What a game. Tension, drama, intensity. But that's nothing new for these two teams. They played 10 times on the regular season, and then yesterday, every game's been that way.
Every single game has been a meat grinder. These teams, they know each other. They're familiar. They're not afraid. These young guys, they know what they have in front of them. And we saw that yesterday, just inches away. Baseball is a game of inches, and they were just inches away of pushing through. But that's what Tampa does. They find ways to win the close ones.
You played in enough postseasons to know that there's always an unsung hero, someone that stands up at the right time. And Manuel Margot had hit just 1 home run all season. Yesterday, a 2-run shot was the difference in the game.
Was a difference, and we got a chance to talk to him, and he got himself in a count where he was looking to do something, and a pitcher made a mistake, ball bagged up on the arm side, and this team, they're full of heroes because not one person is a hero. They don't depend on one person, and it was his turn. And on the other side, the Jays, like we said, I mean, they were there just inches away, and in playoff baseball, it's those big 2-out hits that make the difference in the game. They couldn't find it.
And another difference in playoff baseball, bullpen. Pete Fairbanks got his first save of the year. It's a lockdown pen that has saves from 13 different pitchers. That's a major league record this year. Now on to the starting pitchers.
Yes, we have Ryu going for Toronto, and we can look at the difference and the reason why Montoyo chose to go with him in Game 2. On 4 days rest, 2.74. On 5 days, which is a half run better at 2.49, at 2.29, shall I say. So when you look at his strategy, it definitely favors in that regard, but you would love for this to be in a 1-0 situation, but they find themselves with their best guy for a 0-1 situation.
Tyler Glasnow throws hard, and at 6'8", he can be a dominant pitcher. What are you looking for?
Well, we got to talk to Cash before the game, and we're looking for those first 15 pitches. We know that he has a hammer. If he's getting Uncle Charlie over in those first 15 pitches, this is going to be a short series for the Jays.
The Jays would love to get to tomorrow. The Rays would obviously love to clinch it. And we expect the same intensity and the same drama in Game 2. American League Wild Card Series. The Rays can move on. The Jays want to get to tomorrow.
The Wild Card Series on TBS is presented by Hand-Cooked Tire. Never halfway.
It's a gorgeous day down here. Yesterday, a lot of rain and thunder bouncing off that roof. In the Trop, ready to go. Toronto, the Blue Jays, the 8 seed. They finished at 4 over. And, of course, the best record in the American League, AL East champs, the Tampa Bay Rays. Charlie Montoyo, long-time Tampa Bay minor league manager, big league coach, 2nd season as a Blue Jay manager. He said he learned from Kevin Cash, you got to be creative. And so here's his lineup. Kevin Biggio had a extra base hit yesterday. Bo Bichette's in the 2 spot. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. slots 3rd. Vladdy Jr. in the cleanup spot. Grichuk swung the bat pretty well yesterday. Teoscar Hernandez slides down to the 6th spot. Travis Shaw's in the lineup for that left-handed back. Ditto with Joe Panik, who hits 8th, and Danny Jansen will do the catching. And there is Tyler Glasnow. And you talked about the hammer. That's a big curveball from a 6'8" righty.
I mean, just the drop that you're getting from there, the angle that he's throwing it from. A lot of times as a hitter, you find yourself giving up on it because it's just above your head. It's so tall, and you don't believe that it's going to come down. And then the umpire's raising that right arm. Ha!
Rays defensively, they're very good. Defensive runs saved. They're 2nd in the American League. Mike Zunino, good receiver, good thrower. Willie Adames made 2 terrific plays. He's greatly improved at short, and in the outfield, they can go get it. Margot, Kiermaier, and Renfroe is in right. And we're underway. Glasnow's pitch is a strike. Biggio getting the start at third. Bichette, Gurriel to follow. A double in the 8th inning last night for Biggio. He's a terrific table setter, a .375 on-base percentage. How's 99 at the knees and on the corner?
Filthy. Absolutely filthy. But you know what? Velocity down doesn't seem to be his issue. He got Snell out the game yesterday. First pitch he saw was a double, so he's looking to pick up on that tonight.
Three straight fastballs, 3 straight strikes, 99 at the knees.
That ball just planes out. I mean, when a guy is that tall and he's throwing it down towards your knees, you swear it's going to hit the ground. And then it just catches that plane and sticks in that catcher's glove, and there's nothing you can do. It's an adjustment. You're not used to a guy being 6'8", stretching out that far and to just throwing with that angle and that velocity.
Umpires behind home plate, Chris Conroy. Yesterday, Carlos Torres had the dish. He's out in right field. And, of course, postseason, you've got 2 umpires in the outfield. Bo Bichette goes after the first pitch in the air. Kiermaier catches everything out there, and he's got that one. And Glasnow, his first breaking ball came in pitch 4, and already he's got 2 outs. Down the stretch, his last 7 starts, the Rays went 7-0. His ERA was 3.00, and he was 5-0. So he's a big reason why Tampa Bay is the 1 seed and finished at 40-20. Here is Gurriel. Got the sweet powder blues going for the Jays here in game 2. And Gurriel was their best hitter yesterday. 2 for 4 with a double.
I like these unis. They're sweet. It's, especially in the playoffs. You're usually wearing your traditional colors, but to, you know, adjust to the 21st century and these young guys, let them go out there, have fun. I like the choice in uniform.
That's the old school Blue Jays. Gurriel center field. Kiermaier back and has it. And Tyler Glasnow on 7 pitches sails through the first. Toronto scoreless in the top half. Here comes Kevin Cash and the Tampa Bay Rays. Cash should be considered once again for American League Manager of the Year. Maybe this is the year that he wins it. He certainly deserves it with the job he's done. He's got a versatile bench. It's plug and play with a lot of right-handed bats against the lefty. Mike Brasso is in there at first. Arozarena moves up to the 2 spot. Brandon Lau at second. Yandy Diaz in his first game since the hamstring injury in late August. Margot the hero yesterday. Renfroe, a big right-handed bat. Willie Adames, Kiermaier, and Zunino. Hyunjin Ryu, the 33-year-old South Korean, in the first year of a 4-year, $80 million contract, coming off a splendid season with the Dodgers last year. He was second in the Cy Young Award to Jacob deGrom. Was 14-5 with a 2.32 ERA for the Dodgers, and he's followed that up with a really nice, albeit shortened, 2020. Brasso in the box. Ryu at 87 with his fastball. Small Oakland University near Detroit, where Brasso is from. But he's a valuable player, Kevin Cash said today. Can play him in a lot of spots, all 4 infield spots, and he's at first base in this ball game.
And from Ryu, we can expect a little bit of everything, a little bit of a mixed bag. You know, he's going to give you different looks. Not tricky. He when he's on, he's pounding his zone. He's working in, he's working out.
Brasso lines it into left field, and that's a base hit. Gurriel over to the line. Brasso around first, headed for second. Strong throw, and he is out at second base. Brasso signals to the dugout to watch the video, and we've got a possible review. But Gurriel with a strong throw Panik had to make an acrobatic tag because he had his back to the base runner.
I mean, both sides executed. Out the box, he was thinking double. Gurriel gets over there, put the ball on the bag. Great tag by Joe Panik. I think if Brasso, if he just slides straight into the bag, he's safe. But I think it's the swim move that will make the difference. He picked up his arm. Panik was able to put the tag on him as a middle infielder. Used the guys trying to swim around your tags, and that was the difference.
That's our first look, and the Rays are not going to challenge.
The call was right. The call was right. That was the difference.
Randy Arozarena, the DH, takes away. Here's another angle.
Perfect throw. Joe Panik, knowing where the runner's going to be. That swim move is what made the difference. It was the swim move. Couldn't hold the bag. Kept the tag on him, and he's out.
Arozarena pulls it foul. Arozarena 400 against lefties. And Brasso's in there because he hit 4 homers and 333 against lefties. So this is how the Rays win ball games. They've got guys that they can just plug in depending on the matchup, and especially with a 28-man roster in the postseason, that adds a few extra players. And he drops one into right field. That's a hit. Hernandez up with it, and the Rays open with 2 hits, but the out at second is large. This is a very young and exciting Toronto team. Danny Jansen is a very steady catcher. But when you got youngsters out there, sometimes the defense can go a little sideways on you. Joe Panik's a Gold Glover, won that with San Francisco. The outfield is athletic. Gurriel and Hernandez both can throw from the corners, and Grichuk is pretty good gap to gap.
And so far, it seems like we're getting a different approach from the Rays. They're coming out being aggressive from Ryu, trying to get him in a stretch early, swinging early.
Into right field. That's a base hit from Lau. Up with the ball. Hernandez. The throw is cut, and the Rays aggressively at first and third with 1 out.
And this is Rays baseball. Get runners on, find the holes, put the defense on alert. They made 1 play early, Gurriel and left. But here they are. I mean, 5-6 pitches into the game, 3 hits, 3 batters, 3 hits. Fortunately, the Rays had made a great play, but this is what the Jays do. They put pressure on you. They're not trying to drive the ball out the yard. Put the ball in play, and let's let the game play out.
And now it's set up for Yandy Diaz. At the corners, Diaz, another big right-handed bat who Kevin Cash said can just flat out hit. He had 2 home runs in the wild card win over Oakland last year. So he knows the postseason stage. And Ryu's breaking ball misses out. Infield is back for 2 with Bichette and Panik up the middle. Biggio is deep at third. Lau can run a bit. He's at first. And Ryu catches the outside corner. Great contrast in pitchers. Power certainly from Glasnow. And Ryu throws a little bit of everything. One and 2. All right, here's everything from him.
Well, you're going to get the changeup, cutter, 4-seamer, curveball, and sinker. I mean, he mixes them up. He throws them at any time. He has confidence. He's a pitcher of today's game where it doesn't matter the count. They're going to throw the pitch that they believe that can get you out. So far, he hasn't done that, but if he gets in the groove and finds his way through this inning, look for him to settle down.
You can see it does not have a good sinker. He needs a ground ball, and he gets a strikeout. Chasing is Diaz. Boy, if the Rays get through this inning and don't get a run, that's a real missed opportunity.
It's a backdoor cutter there. I mean, just he painted. It's a ball, it's a ball, it's a ball. Then as a hitter, it might be a strike, and you get those types of swings. So he gets out this. Blue Jays can take a deep breath and say we escaped one. Now it's our turn.
3 straight hits. And, of course, Brasso thrown out at second. The first hit trying to stretch a single to a double. Now Margot. Outside corner for a strike. 2 for 3 yesterday. And, of course, the big home run. Just his second home run all season. Has not fared well against Ryu. He's 1 for 12 in his career. And those at bats as a Padre. And, of course, Ryu, a longtime Los Angeles Dodger. Ground ball, base hit right field. And the Rays have a run. Arozarena will score. Lau holds second. And Tampa Bay has come out swinging. And the series that Margot is compiling right now is pretty impressive.
Postseason hero alert. If I'm Tampa, I want this guy up in every big situation. Doesn't matter what he's done against Ryu in the past. He has been the man on the spot. Last night he comes through with a 2-run home run. Today, early in the game, an RBI single with Glass now on the mound.
So Margot has now driven in 3 runs in the first 2 games of the series. Here is Renfroe. He was 0 for 1 yesterday. And it misses in. His last start was his best start. Ryu shut out the Yankees for 7 innings. Blue Jays took 3 of 4 from the Yankees in that last week of the season. Ball and a strike. Four hits in the inning, 1 run. Counts 1-2. Renfroe kind of, and it's only 2 months of a season, but he's got somewhat of the modern day stat line with an average of $156. 8 home runs though. 22 driven in.
Which is what they like. They love the guy who can get the ball in the air, and he swing or miss, but if he gets a hold of one, it goes a long ways. And trust me, in his mind, he's trying to get this game over early. Up 4-0 is what he's thinking right now. Get us a 4-0 lead and let this team try to come back from that with our staff.
33 home runs last year with San Diego on a .216 average and a .289 on base. On a hop, Bichette airmails it and safe at first. Did not go to second, went to first. I'm not sure if Panic was there.
We talked about it yesterday. Just a young defense. I mean, there's no reason for him to not set his feet and throw the ball, fire the ball to first. I mean, there's no reason for that. He's there. Plenty of time to make a throw. You catch it, you sit back, take a short step, and fire the ball to first. And if you look, it looked like he had 3 fingers on it, a changeup grip. But just set your feet, give yourself time to make a good, strong throw.
Part of shifting is realizing where everybody is. And Panic was behind second base. He got to the bag in time. That there was a play there, but Bichette had already made his mind up to go to first.
But in your mind, you already take those things into consideration. I mean, you understand who's on first base. A fast guy on first base is going to have a huge lead. You take that right out. And it was a 1-hopper to the shortstop. I mean, that's all day. You catch it, you lean back, take a half shuffle step, nice solid firm throw to first base, and you're out the inning. But instead, the inning is extended on a throw in there.
Willy Adames now. 0 for 2 yesterday. Bags loaded. A chance to break this thing open right out of the gate. Well, I told you that it's a young defense, and at times it can get a little squirrely on you. 44 unearned runs the Jays gave up in 60 games, and that was the most in baseball.
That just lets you know how potent their offense is.
Adames swings and misses. Not been a great spot for him, but he is young, and they love him here. He is really growing into the shortstop role. Got him. Ryu gets a strikeout. Messy inning. And amazingly for the Jays, they give up just the one run. Rays a 1-0 start. To the second we go. Bottom of the first. To the second, the Blue Jays get their second look at Tyler Glasnow. Call the shots during postseason games and compete for cash prizes with MLB Rally, a new free-to-play game where you make at-bat predictions in real time. Download the MLB Rally app now. Restrictions apply. See official rules at MLB.com/rally. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Randall Grichuk, Teoscar Hernandez, and Glasnow's not fooling around with that breaking ball. He has come after the Blue Jay hitters with upper 90s heat.
He was establishing early his fastball. He knows they're a fastball hunting team. He's going to show them the fastball, try to use their aggression against them, and as soon as that happens, he breaks it out.
And that breaking ball is one of the toughest pitches to hit in all of baseball. And they count 2-1. Now the Blue Jays as a team are not all that patient. Here's the arsenal.
And as you can see, the changeup, you can really just kind of throw that away 4.7% of the time. Fastball, curveball guy, but you still have to consider it just in case. I mean, it's not something you're going to look for. If he fools you with the changeup, you tip your cap if he throws that for a strike, but you know you're going to see 97, 99. If he's throwing that curveball for a strike, like I said, this is going to be a short day and a short series for the Blue Jays.
As you pointed out, Kevin Cash told us today that they know if he's on in the first 15 pitches of a start.
And he's looking good. I mean, he looks to be on. If they're looking at the first 15 pitches, you can say we're going to ride the horse. Big boy, take us to the finish line. Give us what you have.
He did not come up in the Rays organization. Glasnow was part of a terrific trade that also brought slugger Austin Meadows from the Pirates in the Chris Archer trade. And Glasnow, who was good last year, 5-1 this year, and high heat. This may go down as one of the best trades in Tampa Bay Rays history, especially if Glasnow stays healthy. And there was another player to be named later that came the Rays' way. Archer, since arriving in Pittsburgh, has not flourished, but Glasnow has, and Meadows had a monster year last year, has been banged up this year. Grichuk. 98 on that fastball. There's Meadows. They miss his pop. Family members and some team employees allowed in to watch this series. As we pointed out, the family members are quarantining during this series in hopes that their team will advance to the division series. And in the division series, teams will be bubbled, so to speak. But Major League Baseball doesn't have the time that the NBA had to get everybody, 10 days into the bubble, make sure everybody is healthy and tests negative. Here, the plan is all around the wild card series. If families want to go in the bubble, they need to be with the player for 7 days, clear the tests before they go into the bubble. Breaking ball, and there's a swing and a miss, and Glasnow right now is just filthy.
That was the 18th pitch. I'd have to say he's on.
You think you could tell 18 pitches?
I mean, they say look at his first 15, and then he just goes on from there. And number 18 was Uncle Charlie, 6'8", top down curveball, no chance. I mean, he's throwing 99, and he's throwing that on top of that. 1-0 might feel like 5-0 by the 4th inning.
That's a great point. Here's Teoscar Hernandez. Yesterday, the Blue Jays got a good dose of Blake Snell, and all he did was flirt with a no-hitter in the 6th inning. And that's what makes, in my mind, the Tampa Bay Rays a team that can, if everything's going, can win the World Series, get to the World Series and win it. The top end of the rotation. Charlie Morton is slated to go tomorrow if there is a Game 3. But you run Snell and Glasnow out, and you back it up with a lights-out bullpen. Impressive numbers. And just like that, 0-2 is the Jays right fielder. Hernandez was 0 for 3 yesterday. Led them in home runs this year with 16.
Like Montoyo said, it's a nice problem to have to run Snell, Glasnow, and then the icing on the cake is Charlie, a grizzled veteran who's been there, who knows what it takes, who will battle you in Game 7 and find a way to win.
That hook got away. And Glasnow is 6'8", 6'8", 225 pounds. He's out of Newhall, California, and went to the same high school as Trevor Bauer. But I doubt that Glasnow is going to do the tomahawk chop on his way off the mound in this game, which Bauer did in Atlanta after being brilliant today. Into right field, is going to fall for a base hit. And Teoscar Hernandez has the first hit with 2 outs here in the 2nd for Toronto. It brings up Travis Shaw.
All he does is hit. All he does is hit. I mean, you give him a bat, you throw a ball his way, he finds some way to get it in. And we know that he has some pop, but here he is with 2 strikes, battling. Just put the ball in play, give yourself a chance. Now we get to see Glasnow at the stretch, which is where pitchers, when they feel good, they want to be in a windup. So let's see how he reacts coming out the stretch to a power hitter and Travis Shaw.
Yeah, this is a piece that the Blue Jays like against right-handed pitching. And Shaw didn't get much on that. It's going to float into right, falls for a hit, knocked down by Renfroe. On his way to third is Hernandez. Shaw goes after the first pitch, and the Blue Jays at the corners with 2 outs.
I don't think we should expect anything other than a grind. I mean, you could dominate, then all of a sudden with 2 outs you find yourself in a situation where you have to get out of. The first inning we saw with Ryu, just 4 hits, and the Rays only managed to get 1 run.
Blue Jays had opportunities yesterday with runners in scoring position. They were 0 of 5, but 2 of those offers were line drives that found the glove of Willy Adames, and this guy hit 1 of those, Joe Panic. Ground ball right into the glove of Brasso at first, and the inning ends. Blue Jays leave 2. Bottom of the 2nd coming up, 1-0 Rays. All about overcoming adversity for a lot of different reasons, and for the Jays, it started with a COVID outbreak. They were quarantined for like 3 weeks up in Toronto, and then found out they couldn't play in the Rogers Center, so they had to play some home games in other places. And they ended up with Buffalo, their AAA affiliate, as their home park. These were the places they thought they could play down in their spring training facility, maybe Camden Yards, maybe PNC, but it was no, no, and no. And so they had to settle in Buffalo. They did a wonderful job of transforming that field. It's a great facility to begin with, but to bring it up to Major League code, there's some great time-lapse video and such on the internet. And they used that home field to their advantage. They were 17-9 there. 1-0 ball game. And you get a sense that Hyun-Jin Ryu better get it together in a hurry because Glass now looks good. Line drive, base hit. That is the 5th hit already. Kevin Kiermaier is aboard. The Rays in the first had 4 hits and there was a throwing error, and they have just 1 run to show for it. But Kiermaier keeps the parade rolling.
I mean, usually when you have this many hits this early in the game, the score is a little more than 1-0. So if you're the Jays, you see that as a positive. Fine, get your singles, get a run on base, but don't push him across home plate. And if you're Ryu, what am I doing to get a ground ball right here? I mean, you don't have a lot of speed at the plate. A big strikeout guy. The whole right side is open, but this is a perfect double play ground ball guy. Got to put us right back in shape.
Kiermaier at first, Ryu to the plate, and a swing and a miss. Mike Zunino hitting just a .147 and a low on base. But when he runs into one, he can hit it out. He's had some powerful years in the big leagues, especially with Seattle. But he's in there for his defense. He had a 25 home run season with the Mariners. Rays have been running with success, but Ryu is one of the best in the game at shutting down a running game.
First of all, he's a left-handed pitcher, so he's looking at you. There's no early break-in. He can see everything you're doing. Secondly, he'll hold the ball. He gives you that I'm not going to go to the plate, I really don't care look. Then he throws a slide step out there. That's a bad combination as a base runner. You just either say I'm going to go.
To left, Gurriel back. He's run into one. Gone. 2-run shot. Mike Zunino on an 0-2 pitch. And the Rays heroes have been Manuel Margot and Mike Zunino so far in this wild card series.
And although there's a lot of game left, this is what the better teams do. They get on top and they make sure you know you have no chance today. This is a knockout game. They know that. They're not going to give this Jays team a chance to breathe. And right now they're doing what you're supposed to do. They found a way to put more than 1 run on the board. And something that they don't do very often is hit home runs. In the last 2 games, they've had 2 2-run homers. And that you just don't get that from the Rays.
And you don't expect it from the 2 that have hit him. Top of the order, Brasso. That's not where you want an 0-2 pitch.
Not at all. Not at all. He just pulled the ball. And there's no one more thankful than Mike Zunino right now.
The home run from Margot came from the 7th spot in the order yesterday. And of course, Zunino's at the bottom of the order today. And Ryu right now, I mean, it started with a parade of singles, but the long ball, 6 hits already, and the pitch count already at 30. And he doesn't have an out here in the 2nd inning. Ross Stripling, another former Dodger, is up. And you can see Ryu, the body language isn't good right now.
Yeah, and if you look at the 2 teams, The Rays are playing like a team that's up 1-0 in a series and know they have a chance to close it. And on the other side, Ryu, just almost as if he's not feeling it. He can't get ahead. They're putting the pressure on him. They're swinging early. They're getting hits. And he hasn't had a chance to get comfortable. And when you're a better team, like I said, you want to make sure the other team realizes that you're better for a reason.
Outside corner, Ryu gets a strikeout. That's his third strikeout, believe it or not. And that's the first out of the second. They are back and they're hungrier than ever. All new episodes of Impractical Joker's Dinner Party. It returns to True TV October 29th. Rosarena now has a couple hits in the series. A triple yesterday, single in the first. Goes after this one, drives it to right, hits it well. Hernandez back at the wall, reaches, and he can't get it. Off the wall, and Rosarena pulls in with a double. This guy is going to be really good in the big leagues.
He really is. And like I said, I got a text yesterday that was saying how Rosarena says he loves left-handed pitching. And the reason why, they throw the ball to the barrel. And he's had lefties the last couple nights, and he's just enjoying it. A triple to right center, a double basically in the same spot, a single is first at bat. I mean, he really loves lefties. If you make a statement like that and you live up to it, it's not bragging if you're doing it.
Well, there's early action here as Lau swings. Of the 7 hits, 3 have come on the first pitch of the at-bat. And so that's an obvious game plan for the Rays to have early action.
Go over the scouting report. You know what he does the first pitch, you know, a percentage of times. And if we're going to take our chances, we're going to give ourselves the best chance. It's early in the account.
Line to second. Panic has it. Brandon Lau with a loud out. And there are 2 outs. The Houston Astros are the first team to advance as they sweep the Twins 3-1. That game is a final now. And so Houston, a 6th seed, advances. The Minnesota Twins have not won a postseason game since 2004. You were playing in the vet the last time the Twins won a postseason game, 2004.
That's a little while ago.
That's 18 consecutive games they've lost in the postseason. Houston will meet the winner of Oakland and the White Sox in Los Angeles in the bubble. And that series will start next Monday. It's a weekend off for everybody in the wild card series with the ALDS, of course, on TBS starting on Monday, October 5th. And the NLDS starts on Tuesday. San Diego and LA for the ALDS National League Division Series in Arlington and in Houston. Here, the Rays, a 1-0 lead in the series and a 3-0 lead early against Hyunjin Ryu. And Ryu has put together 3 really nice years, including this one. 2 of those, the tail end of his Dodger career. Yandy Diaz takes up 2-0.
He hasn't missed too many barrels tonight. I mean, these guys, they're looking at either a pitch or a zone, definitely early in the count, and have been aggressive, and so far it's paid off for him. 7 hits, 3 runs, cashing in with a chance to score more right here.
This is one of those games where you immediately think about Chad Mottola, the hitting coach for the Rays, and the pregame meeting, because all the approach is similar. Early action, guys have gone opposite field, short stroke, they've put it in play, and then Zunino popped one out. Part of having Ryu out there is length and trying to get him into the 6th inning at least. That's not going to happen at this pace.
No, not at all. I mean, he's struggling. When he throws the ball across the plate, they put a good part of the barrel on it. We had a 2-run home run, doubles, hard hit singles. And as a pitcher, you start questioning what you're doing. You know, you don't want to come over the plate because they're showing aggression. They're not chasing too much, so where do you go? You keep pounding the zone, and you find yourself in situations where you have to stretch early.
Speaking of length, Jimmy Rollins, the Atlanta Braves in 13 innings beat the Cincinnati Reds 1-0. Great starting pitching there. Trevor Bauer, 7 2/3, 12 strikeouts, no walks. Max Fried, 7 innings, 6 hits, no runs. And then it was on to the bullpen and on to the 13th, and the Braves lead the series 1-0. And that goes down as the longest scoreless game in postseason history. Here's Margot, RBI single in the first to drive in the first run. Willie Adames and the Rays, that's his guy. Adames and Margot very, very close. Bobbled, Bichette fires low, and everybody is safe. And for Dante Bichette, it has been a rough start. Or
yep.
Excuse me, Bo Bichette. Dante as well.
For sure. Just sit up there watching.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's. I mean, you can see it in his approach. He was a little uncomfortable. He got a little too close to the ball. Gave himself, you know, a somewhat difficult hop, and then just makes really a careless throw, a senseless throw. Good thing the first baseman, Travis, came off the bag knowing we had no chance. But, look, sit back, take you out at second.
That's a 22-year-old shortstop in the postseason.
Been there, not in the postseason, but been there. You make that error early, and then you start questioning everything you do. You know, you don't want to make that mistake again. It's 2 outs, and a ball is hit to you. And there's sometimes you really say, please don't hit another one to me. Sometimes you say, hit another one to me, but he'll find a way. I mean, if they get out of this, he has a chance to do something at the plate to make up for it and just feel better about himself. I'm sure he's looking forward to that.
That's a hard way to live in the postseason, trying to get out of this or get out of that, because that was the first inning for Ryu. He gave up just the 1 run. He's given up a 2-run homer to Mike Zunino here in the second. Renfroe has big power. Drives it left field. In the corner. Gurriel gone! Grand slam! And Tampa Bay has kicked this thing wide open.
Can't give a good team extra outs, and that's what we've seen. And I mean, it happens to the best of them, but Tampa Bay, this is a different Tampa Bay team. They're hitting home runs. They're doing what they grind. They're grinding out at bats. They're taking advantage of mistakes, and 7-0 early.
And Ryu is done. The Rays hit lefties. Their lineup was stacked with right-handed bats. 2 of them have homered. First it was Zunino, and now Hunter Renfroe with a grand slam. Tampa Bay 7-0. In Tampa Bay Rays postseason history. And he has knocked Hyunjin Ryu out of the game. Ross Stripling out of Toronto's bullpen, and the game is 7-0. Willie Adames fouls it off.
Sweet swing right there.
Pitch is out. Adames struck out back in the first. His last start, he shut out the Yankees for 7 innings, but the Rays jump him. All the runs on the grand slam unearned. Bo Bichette with the error at short.
And the Jays just have to remember that it's still early. Yes, it's 7 runs, but we haven't even completed 2 innings yet. So let's just try to find a way to get 1 or 2 here, 1 or 2 there. Look up in the 6th or 7th inning. If we hold them, see where we are.
Up the middle. Panic good with the glove. Safe at first. Adames beats it. We'll take a look at it. And certainly the Blue Jays will take a look at it as well.
I thought he had him, but we'll see.
Interior of the glove.
I think he's out.
I think he's out as well. Once the ball's in the interior of the glove. Ooh, that's close.
It might be a let it stand. It might not be worth the challenge. I mean, if he calls him out there on the Rays side, you have to let it stand.
That's a frame by frame.
Yes.
And the Blue Jays are not going to challenge.
And it's amazing as players how much we complain, but when you go back and look at the number of times they get those calls right, and have to see it in real speed, we have a chance to break it down frame by frame. To see that call being made and get it right, you have to tip your hat to these umpires. They work hard at what they do to put themselves in position to make those calls, and a lot of times they get them right. And that's for any sport.
It's Lance Barksdale down at first, and that's the mechanics of that call as an umpire is you're watching the base and listening for the pop of the glove. And I don't know how you distinguish with that one with the ball and the foot just about at the same spot. Gurriel over towards the line, makes the catch. A long inning for the Blue Jays and for the Rays. A couple of long balls. Mike Zunino from the 9 spot. And after the air, the bag's loaded. Hunter Renfroe unloads a grand slam. In a 7-0 hole right now against one of the better power pitchers in the game, and Tyler Glasnow. And they'll have their 9-1-2 hitters up. Danny Jansen, Kevin Biggio, and Bo Bichette. Glasnow has been effective, economical, and at times overpowering. That one is driven left field. That's way out of here. My goodness. That's off one of the O-rings in deepest, darkest left field. Both catchers hitting 9th. Both catchers hitting under 200. And both catchers have homered in this game.
What a game. I mean, baseball, you just never know who's going to do what and when. And I was just thinking to myself, you don't change your game plan. You don't let the pitcher come out and just dominate now. Stick with your game plan. The game is early. See what we can do up until the 6th inning and look up at the scoreboard and see where we stand. And that's a good answer. I mean,
that's a start, right?
You can only score 1 run at a time if you're the only one hitting, right? Nobody on base. First pitch. Why wait around?
He hit 6 this season.
Oh, that's crushed. That ball was crushed.
It was, absolutely. You could tell because Margot didn't move.
Didn't move at all.
So 7-1. Now, as hard as he throws, there's a check swing and no swing. As hard as he throws, Glasnow does give up home runs. 11 in 11 starts. But in this day and age, that's actually not that bad. StatCast has 432 feet.
Huh. That's only because it hit the catwalk. I mean,
that's projected distance.
Yeah.
And that's the catwalk, and it hammered the catwalk at a pretty good rate. That's at the knees for a strike. And full count to Biggio, struck out back in the first.
That ball may have been on a mezzanine level if that catwalk isn't there.
And Biggio late on that fastball, strikes out. Let's follow the bouncing ball.
Oh.
That is the lower ring. Anything that hits that in fair territory, and you can see it sits behind the fence. That's a home run. And the ring above it as well. Then you have the two other rings, and if it's in fair territory, it's in play. And this is one of the buildings in baseball that has a roof. Some are retractable. This one is not. That has that fun ground rule where you're an infielder, and Jimmy, you've been there many times. You've got to follow the ball. If it hits something in fair territory on that roof, it's in play. And you can run it down in shallow left or over in foul territory if it bounces from fair to foul.
The rule of thumb is if it goes up, play it. Let the umpires make the call. What you don't want to do is assume you know the rules. Oh, that's foul, and it comes back fair, and there's a runner on second. And all you have to do is catch the ball.
Bichette takes outside. It's 3-1. Bo was 0 for 3 yesterday. Had a sacrifice fly. And a walk, the first one issued. The rings of fire, so to speak, here in St. Pete. That's the upper one and the next one over. And we were talking about the one that was hit there by Jansen and the one above it. Those are home runs if it's fair territory. In foul territory, it's a foul ball, dead ball. Gurriel now, a strike.
It's definitely unique. Something you don't see at any other major league ballpark. I mean, we've seen things above the head, but all the wires and the ring rules.
Roller in the hole, backhanded Adames across the diamond. Terrific play.
Beautiful play right there. That play is underrated. For shortstops to be able to go to their backhand side and have to throw moving away from first base accurately, hitting the first baseman, above the knee, so give him a chance to get a nice stretch. He did everything right. Perfect. There's nothing better you can do right there. Put the ball on the money, square to your shoulders, get your hips around, give your first baseman a chance to make a stretch and get the out for you.
Charlie Montoyo, who obviously was in the Rays organization a long time, said that the improvement that guy has made, that he has seen, of course last year he saw it as the manager of the Jays, has been monumental from day one last year to the end of last year and continued on into this year. Adames has really blossomed.
It's a testament to him putting in the work. The coach is seeing what needs to be improved, him knowing what he needs to do to improve and putting in that work, and then believing in himself that in a game I can take what I've practiced and execute it.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. counts 0-2. Two outs, a run across, but a big lead for the Rays. That pitch comes a long ways.
Everything about this kid is long. Long arms, long legs. Only thing that isn't long is the amount of time you get to see the ball. When you're 6'8" and these guys stretching out, fastball at 99 with the hammer, it makes things a little tougher.
Bouncer up the middle. Adames has it, loads up. Tyler Glasnow gives up a home run. Rays on top. Danny Jansen. First run of the day for the Blue Jays. Break. This is Houston with a 1-0 lead in the series, and Carlos Correa out of the park. And out of the playoffs are the Minnesota Twins. They haven't won a playoff game since 2004. Miami, when they come to Wrigley Field, crazy things happen. This is Corey Dickerson, a 3-run shot. The Marlins, certainly the underdogs and the darlings in terms of what they've been through. Jesus Aguilar gets to the bullpen for a 2-run homer. And in game 1 of that series, it's 5-1, Miami on top. And here, the Rays flexing their muscles. A tight one yesterday and a 1-0 lead in the series. 7-0 here, or 7-1 here. 7-0 until the Danny Jansen home run. And here's a guy that started things off in the second, Mike Zunino, who blasted one to left. A 2-run shot. Hunter Renfroe would hit a grand slam. And it's 7-1. Hyunjin Ryu is long gone. Ross Stripling has taken over. Bottom of the order, 5 through 9. Terrific yesterday. Couple big home runs today. And Jimmy Rollins, a couple times you've pointed out in this series, that's the beauty of the Rays. There really isn't one guy that you say, well, we can't let him beat us.
And they know that. That's their mentality. They come into every single game expecting someone to do something, not just one person. Let's get this guy up because this is the guy that we need on the spot when the game's on the line. No, it's my turn. If it's not me, I pass the baton to the next guy, and we just keep the train going. And when you have that type of mentality as a team, that we lean on one another, you come in every day expecting to do something great, not just one person. A true team effort.
Ball's hit well, but foul. Man, that's mezzanine level. As we said, you've got family members from both teams that are here and some employees of the Rays that have been allowed in to watch this series. And Zunino fouls that one off. 8 postseason games going on right now. Those two are inseparable. And of course, Margot on the right, the hero last night, had an RBI hit today. That's strike 3 called. The story of Margot this year is just, it really is incredible. At the start of the year, he was in a rental car with his family when a passing motorist noticed smoke. Margot pulled over, got his family out of the car, had all their belongings in there. The car exploded. They lost everything. And then 3 days later, he lost his father to COVID. His father passed away. And his dad, there's a terrific article in the Tampa Bay Times this morning. Eduardo Encina wrote it about Margot and his father, Emmanuel. You know, the type of dad that after every game he would call his father and they talk about the game, they talk about the at-bats. And he said it just the thought of not having his father in this of all seasons, coming to a new team, trying to make a mark. And, you know, as a manager, with everything going on this year, Kevin Cash, having to manage that, that's really tough. It was Adames who really pulled him through it. Workout partners, You know, teams during the lockdown, they couldn't work out together, but individuals could work out. And Adames and Margot were inseparable. And so if you saw yesterday's moment, it puts into perspective the look on his teammates' faces when he got to the dugout after that home run. The look that Adames had for him. That one is smoked up the middle and a base hit for Brasso. Now, we've seen him sitting on that step throughout the series, but every moment seemingly they're together. This is from yesterday's game. That's the home run.
Just chilling, big brother, little brother. You know, and we hear it all the time that you spend more time with your teammates than you do with your family. And it is a sacrifice to your immediate family. But your teammates, that organization, the coaches, the people in the front offices, everyone that works here, they become your family. You spend so much time at the field, so much time, whatever sport, at a facility, with these people, learning them, learning their stories, sharing these personal stories, that it becomes a brotherhood or a sisterhood. And in this situation, that is a true brotherhood, that when you lose your father, someone so close, where do I turn? You turn to the guys that are in the clubhouse with you, and they put their arms around you, and they just take you in.
And as a manager, you know, Kevin Cash saw this. He saw that Adames had attached himself to Margot in that time of need. I think especially for an organization that is as data-driven as the Rays are, having a manager whom the players feel have their backs to support them, to management or to anybody in a game. I mean, Cash, certainly his reaction to the beaning Brasso was thrown at with the Yankees, that's a great example of that. That's really important, I think. And that situation forced Kevin Cash to really have to connect with a guy he'd not managed yet, a guy that was new to the organization. I asked Kevin Cash about that today. And, you know, in my mind, one of the best in the business at doing that is Bob Melvin in Oakland. Because Oakland is a very similar organization, he said, to the Rays in terms of sometimes players feel like they're just a on-base percentage or a batting average that you can plug and play. And he said you have to make sure that they know you know that they are human beings. And I'm sure, Jimmy, as a player, you had with Charlie Manuel for a long time, you had a guy that always had your back, that you always felt was a buffer between you and the front office.
And that's what a great manager does. We don't know the battles that they fight for us. I didn't know the battles that Charlie fought for me until I retired and I got to share a clubhouse with him in spring training and hear all the stories and all the things that he used to say. That goes for every organization. When the manager has your back, he's going to fight for you.
That's a foul ball. And that's not to say that the Rays organization was not supportive. They've been over the top supportive of Margot. But the manager's role is a really unique one in the game today. And that is, with all the analytics, you still have to manage people.
Yes, you do.
And Cash does a wonderful job of that here.
Yes, he does. And I think some guys get labeled as a player's manager, and on the outside, you really don't understand what a player's manager is.
That's a fair ball, and it sneaks down the line off the bat of Arozarena. Run around third coming home, and the Rays are going to add a run, and it's 8-1 now. How about the series and the day that Randy Arozarena is having right now?
Postseason heroes. There you go, gets a backup cutter, it appears to be. Bounces it down the line. RBI double.
3 hits today, 2 of them doubles, 1 for 4 yesterday. That hit was a triple. I'm telling you, Jimmy Rollins, this team can go a long ways. This team can win it all. They are good enough on the mound. They're very good defensively. They seem to have a hero anywhere in the lineup.
But this is what they have to do. They have to stay aggressive, understanding that they're not a team that's going to sit back and rely on the big 2- and 3-run home runs, although they have a grand slam and a 2-run home run tonight. They have to come out there, be aggressive on good pitches to hit in order to have success, and they are doing that tonight. They're finding holes. They're having timely hitting. They're getting good pitching. They've done that all year long, and if that continues, they can definitely be a favorite coming out the AL. There's a long way to go, but I like the way they came out today. They seem like a different team, a team that knows they have a long future.
Brandon Lau now. Blue Jays have shifted to the right side, and Lau swings and misses. Well, it was a really short start for Hyun-Jin Ryu. They knocked him out in the 2nd inning. 7 runs on the board. The Renfroe grand slam. The last hitter he faced. Lau has lined out and singled. 11 hits. And there's 1 out in the 3rd. If you don't have upper 90s, Jimmy Rollins, you have to have command, and here was Ryu's day.
Yeah, he never got a chance to get comfortable. They came out early, they attacked him, they put him in a stretch, so he didn't have a chance to really see what he had when the game started. You can feel whatever you want in the bullpen, but when you're facing batters and they're swinging and they're hitting the ball and they're putting the ball in a barrel, it can shake you up a little bit. And sometimes you see a pitcher's confidence kind of waver a little bit. He didn't have a chance to get confident. The Rays were ready, they were game, and they got him out early.
3 of those pitches were out, and the right-handed bats did a nice job of poking those into right field. Rosarena at second. 3-2. Lau hooks it. Shaw to the bag. 2 outs. We're talking about the Houston Astros and advancing into the bubble. They'll go into the ALDS in Los Angeles, and they'll get the winner of Oakland and the White Sox. Oakland's bouncing back from yesterday, has a 5-0 lead over the White Sox, bottom of the 7th. The winner of this one, and right now the Rays are in a great spot, would go to San Diego and face the winner of Cleveland and New York. The Yankees won big last night. Yandy Diaz, the only Tampa Bay Ray without a hit, has a walk and a run scored. Biggio cuts it off, cross the diamond in time. Tampa Bay adds a run. Randy Arozarena chases home Mike Brasso.
Goes the
The American League Wild Card Series on TBS. Presented by Hankook Tire. Well, this has been a runaway. And the Tampa Bay Rays and Tyler Glasnow. A 1-0 lead in the series, and it could be over shortly. And the Rays could be headed to the bubble and headed to the division series. Randall Grichuk takes a fastball up. Grichuk to Oscar Hernandez and Travis Shaw. Blue Jays showed signs of life in the third. Their catcher Danny Jansen hit a long home run to left field, but that's the only dent in Glasnow today. Yesterday, the American League Wild Card Series started. Today, the National League starts. 8 games today. The Astros eliminated the Twins 3-1. And the Braves and the Reds played the longest scoreless game in postseason history. A 1-0 Braves win. Freddie Freeman knocked in the game winner in the 13th inning. The Braves lead the Reds 1-0 in that series.
A walk-off against the Reds in Cincinnati.
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta, I'm sorry. Where the Braves play very well. Playing Cincinnati.
They do. Grichuk knocks that into right field. All right, another interesting series, and another Korean lefty got the start for the St. Louis Cardinals in San Diego. Kwon Hyung Kim, and his lineup has provided runs. Paul Goldschmidt off of Chris Paddock. That's a 2-run shot and a 4-run inning. And the Cardinals lead that ball game by a score of 4-1. It's only bottom of the first, though.
When you think about sports this year, we go from a time where there was nothing on TV to you flip on any sports channel and it's full of games. And if you're a sports fan, you have to be happy about that. I mean, with everything and the craziness going on, we finally have sports and the NBA, very interesting, very compelling games. Here we are, a similar situation. Teams that know each other, completely different situation. 16 playoff teams in baseball. You don't get that. But we're here. We're here. We're playing ball. And as athletes, we couldn't be prouder. And as fans, I know we're excited.
And you and I really are treated to the fact that we are here. We are in St. Pete. And a lot of baseball has been called remotely this year. I was fortunate enough to actually call a no-hitter remotely. Alec Mills of the Cubs. I was in Atlanta. Ron Darling was in New York, and the game was in Milwaukee. 8-1 Rays here. The Rays players, now traditionally, and everybody across baseball knows this, the Rays have had trouble drawing fans to this facility. It's across the bay from Tampa. It's not an easy drive at 5 o'clock at night. Usually it's storming and there's a lot of traffic, so they don't draw well in the regular season. But man, their playoff crowds, especially last year, a lot of the players in the press conference before this series talked about what the atmosphere was like in here last year and how much they enjoyed 40,000. This place is just unbelievable with the sound and the frenzy in the postseason. At least it was last year. That's strike 3 called. Oscar Hernandez is down on strikes.
And if you know anything about this Tampa Bay area, you're the Rays, you play Boston, you play New York, and those fans travel well when those teams are playing here. So in home game can somewhat feel like a home game for the Yankees or Boston at times. So when you finally get 40,000 people that are fans of yours, it makes a huge, huge difference.
You never like to see a manager come out with a trainer, especially when a starter seems like he's going fine. We'll take a look at the last delivery to see if we saw anything. Jimmy, you see anything?
Nothing that would concern me. I mean, maybe having a little tingle or a little numbness in his fingers. I got to talk to Pedro how that happens sometimes. Especially the guys that have velo. They're throwing a ball and their shoulder comes out of socket for a split second, and you get a little tingle, or you have some numbness there, and you don't have a good feeling for it. So nothing that stood out. He didn't, flinch or grab at anything. But obviously they know their guy. If he has any issues, they know what to look out for. So something that they didn't like there, had them come out and look at him, but he says he's okay and he's staying out there.
I'm okay. But look, if you're Kevin Cash, you've got to make sure. You don't always take the pitcher's word for it.
You don't take any player's word for it. We're always okay. There's a difference between being hurt and injured. And if it hurts, you'll find a way to get through it. Motrin, Advil, Tylenol, maybe some duct tape. But when you're injured, you have to step out. So he's here. Let's see what he has left.
Here's Travis Shaw, and he goes after the first pitch and launches it to left. Margot is out there, makes the catch. Joe Panik to the plate. This is a postseason, obviously, unlike any we've ever seen in terms of structure and series, the wild card series, but even in the division series and league championship series, there are no off days. You're going to play 5 days in a row in the division series if it takes 5, 7 days in a row in the LCS if it takes 7. And to that point, I think the Rays are uniquely built for that. They have frontline starting pitching. We saw Snell. This is Glasnow. Morton is their 3 guy. But they also are really good at using an opener and mixing and matching out of their bullpen, which is what a lot of teams are going to have to do, because some teams don't have a 4th or a 5th guy that they rely on. But you're going to have to, because you can't. I mean, in a 7-game series, you were able to bring back your number 1 and 2 and sometimes 3 to pitch a couple times with the travel days. Don't have that this year. And I think that's advantage Rays. Little tapper, Panik up the line. Glasnow gets out of the way, and Panik is tagged out by Brasso. 8-1 Rays. We're still in the 4th in St. Pete. Not a party yet, but getting close as the Rays, an 8-1 lead, trying to advance to the division series. They have a Stanley Cup boat parade tonight out on Tampa Bay, celebrating that Stanley Cup win. Nate Pearson, the top prospect in the Jays organization, and from this area, about an hour north in Spring Hill, Florida, went to first FIU over in Miami, and then Ocala Community College. 6'6", 250, and he faces Manuel Margot, RBI single. Margot has bounced out. He's driven in 3 runs in the series, 3 for 5, and of course the 2-run homer, the big blow yesterday in a 3-1 win. And Pearson throws hard, 98. And there's triple digits.
What do you know? Another guy out the bullpen that can touch triple digits, huh? Man, it is just amazing. Like, where are these guys created?
A swing and a miss. Well, it helps to be 6'6", 250, but the training regimen for pitchers has changed dramatically in the last 5 to 6 years with high-performance labs like Driveline in Seattle. The major colleges like North Carolina, Vanderbilt, Oregon State have all gone heavy into Rapsodo cameras, the high motion cameras, the biomechanics study, the new workout of weights with weighted balls and all of that. I mean, literally you can add velocity as a pitcher with a lot of the stuff that they have. And the colleges were first into it. And they, of course, produce a lot of the top pitchers. This is a junior college guy here. And so these guys, you know, guys that are throwing 94 spend time at one of these places or with a college program, or now major league teams have this equipment and this workout. And some major league teams have hired college pitching coaches because of that. And so you got guys, that's 101. You got guys that can add velocity. But the one thing, and I've been to Driveline in Seattle, the one thing they preach there is velocity is great. It helps. I mean, it plays. But you still have to command your fastball. You still have to be able to manipulate the baseball. That's wicked right there. I mean, command this. Look at this.
I mean, an 87-mile-an-hour slider. That is filthy. 101 to 87. Go grab a seat.
So, Jimmy, if you wanted to make a comeback and you wanted to add about 3 or 4 miles an hour to your fastball,
it's not there.
I mentioned that place in Seattle. There's other places around the country, and it's especially, I'll bet you the Phillies are like that. In fact, the Phillies hired a guy from that lab as their hitting instructor, Jason Ochart, who's terrific and done a really nice job with a couple of the Philly hitters this year. But again, they also say that velocity is great. We can get you velocity, but you have to command the fastball and manipulate the baseball. And Trevor Bauer is probably the best example of that. And he's a guy that has frequented that place.
I didn't know that.
This kid just looks scary.
He looks like a big baby on the mound and just throwing flames.
101 with a hammer like that.
I mean, that's just filthy. I mean, what are you going to do? This is, I mean, you see a guy like this come in and you're saying, I'm glad we're up 8-1. Because he has lights out, shut you down stuff.
Whew. Well, Nate Pearson getting a taste of the postseason. And the Rays getting a taste of Nate Pearson. Eight-1 ball game. Tampa Bay on top. Let's take a look at StatCast powered by Google Cloud. This was the Jansen home run. Off the catwalk. Rocked the catwalk. I think it was 432 feet.
Yeah, me and trajectory projections have always had a slight disagreement, to say the least. We've seen 430-something foot home runs, and sometimes you literally sit there and question, like, come on now, that ball was just starting to plane out, and you're just giving it that much. But you know the science behind it. They pay a lot of money for those things, and oh my goodness,
my goodness, Jansen again. Oh, his second. That one missed the catwalk, but it's still impressive. And it's 8-2, and Jansen has homered twice for the Blue Jays.
3 pitches, 2 home runs.
Goodness. The Jays aren't going quietly here. That ball's driven to center field. Kiermaier after it. Track makes the catch. Biggio got into one. And there's an out here in the 5th.
Can we get the distance on that one? I want to see how that one compares, that home run compares to his first one.
We have a crack staff of researchers. And right now, 395 is the early return. That one not as high as the catwalk homer.
On the home run, it's the second multi-home run game by a Blue Jay in postseason history. The first is Jose Bautista.
Ground ball up the middle, off the bat of Bo Bichette. This is only the second multi-home run game by a Blue Jay in postseason history. That's hard to believe. I mean, that's really hard to believe with all the great teams they had in the 90s. Yeah. And we do apologize for the great audio that we have on the field. It picks up the bat crack, it picks up the great dugout sounds, and occasionally it picks up a frustrated pitcher.
To say the least.
So we apologize for that. Here is Gurriel. Jose Bautista, 2015, had a multi-homer game, and of course that was the year of the epic bat flip against Sam Dyson and the Rangers, I believe. Gurriel is 0 for 2. But those World Series years, you would think somebody would have popped one out. Joe Carter, you'll never hit a bigger home run.
1993.
Tom Cheek called it in Toronto. 92-93 World Series champs. No swing by Gurriel. 8-2 Rays on top. 65 pitches for Glasnow. And as we mentioned, if the Rays win this game, they don't play again until Monday. So there's plenty of time for Glasnow and Snell to rest before their next start. Obviously, if you're Charlie Morton, you need to have him throw maybe a sim game in the next few days. But it's certainly not over. It's a 6-run game, and we're only midway through. Gurriel 2 for 4 yesterday with a double. Kiermaier's out there. Glasnow gets through 5, gives up another long homer to the Blue Jays catcher, Danny Jansen. He went 438, and this 395. It's 8-2 Rays. We've never done October like this before, and that means anything can happen. MLB has you covered on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Rich Waltz, Jimmy Rollins, our entire TBS crew here in St. Pete. This is a terrific road hotel in Major League Baseball. A lot of teams love coming here.
It is a great hotel, and I actually got a chance to get out and do a little just fresh air breathing and just remember how beautiful this place is. And I mean, hopefully, you know, when this contract is up, they get a new stadium, we'll be able to draw, because this is a great baseball team. They have a lot to offer. And if you're a baseball fan, I mean, this is baseball heaven. Spring training happens down here. You have a major league team that's winning, and that's good, and is really not a secret anymore. So, you know, I wish them luck going forward as far as that goes. Get a new field, because this is a great place to come watch a baseball game.
And this is how good they have been since 2018, starting 2 seasons ago, including this, it makes 3 years. The Rays are right there with the teams that you think are dominant. They have been dominant. Shot flips. Pearson gets over, and out at first is Kiermaier. And Jimmy Rollins speaks from experience. You have lived down here. You've lived in Tampa for a long time, and now you've relocated to the West Coast.
Yes. And I enjoyed every minute. I forgot how humid it gets out here. We've had a break. It's had been a lot of rain and keeping the temperature down and humidity relatively livable. But I mean, to have a ballpark that is Tampa, that is St. Pete, that really grasps what the Bay Area is. We see how much they love the Bucks, and obviously even a little bit more now with Tom Brady. But you have a good product that you run out on the field, and you build something that people want to come to. They enjoy being outside. I mean, if you have a boat, you're always on the water. There's water all the way around. You can incorporate all of that into a brand new stadium. With this product, I mean, baseball can really take off down here at the major league level.
And that's the challenge as Mike Zunino stands in. Zunino with a two-run homer. That's the challenge here in this market, is get a new ballpark. And preferably one closer to the center. And Brady's here like that. Literally,
is that the Gronk too?
Literally and figuratively, Gronk is right next to him.
Inseparable.
Yes.
I guess it's true. If you build it, they will come.
There's some Stanley Cup champions. But preferably closer to the population of Tampa, because you as a resident know that the commute out here is not easy.
Yep.
We talked about that, the challenges.
And they love baseball. You have the Yankees right over on the other side, the Blue Jays, and the Phillies, literally within, a 20-minute drive going either direction. So you give them a major league product to sit there, they will show up. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They love baseball. A lot of the people from the Northeast come down to Tampa to retire, love baseball, and they can see their teams. They can see their teams on a consistent basis between the Yankees and Boston. But here in St. Pete, well, in Tampa, hopefully at some point, but right now in St. Pete.
And that's the impressive thing to me about this Tampa Bay organization, the front office, the manager, the coaches, the players. Despite not having the huge crowds here, they've thrived. They have found ways to win. They've been creative. They've been innovative. And none of them really wanted the title as Ji-Man Choi is up. And Ji-Man Choi gets into one, drives it to right and deep and foul. Because he knew that we're not done with the story. Despite all of that, they have built a terrific team on the field. Great minor league organization, scouting, all of that. They don't want to be the underdogs. The players, when they met the press a couple days ago, they said, yeah, no, we don't want to be the lovable underdogs anymore. We are good. We won 96 games last year. We have the best record in the American League. We are good. Stop telling us that we're overachieving. Nobody likes to be called an overachiever, right?
I wouldn't want to be. I mean, we've proven it, especially starting 2018, 19, 25, 89 win percentage, which I believe it showed was the 5th best win percentage. Just because the Yankees are out there with their 27 World Series and the Red Sox and just the years they've been able to put together, that doesn't mean we're a discounted team. We may have play in a small market, but we play Major League Baseball. We play high-quality baseball, and it has shown. And that's the attitude that has driven them to this point right now. 40-20 in the regular season, and the reason why they're up 8-2 in this ball game.
Choi pinch hitting here. Pearson still throwing triple digits. And the local kid, who's a top prospect for the Blue Jays, has been impressive. Struck out everybody on 12 pitches in the 4th inning. Choi had a hamstring injury, pulls that one foul. Choi actually experimented with switch hitting. Homered from the right side earlier this year, but he's gone back to just going lefty.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Javi Baez hit the double left-handed the other day at the end of the season, and Choi homering from the right side.
Speaking of fun facts, it's well known in baseball circles with broadcasters that the Tampa Bay Rays have the most creative media guides. And in their player bios, they have some of the craziest stories. And in the next half inning, we are going to dive in and get you the lowdown on Tyler Glasnow.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's been that way for a long time. They do a terrific job here. There's stuff that, just like you said, when you're a kid listening to Vin Scully or a player listening to Vin Scully, stories that you never even heard about your own teammates. We get that when we return. 8-2 Rays on top. Start of the game. That's the starting pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. Little elliptical work, and he was out there for a while. Tyler Glasnow, a 27-year-old Southern California kid, 6'8", 225. And in researching for any broadcast, you go to the media guide, but you don't always get the great stories. As I said, the Tampa Bay Rays PR department does such a great job. The stories they have about their players, you don't find anywhere else. Vlad Guerrero in the box, breaking ball from Glasnow is a strike. We'll start with the slow stuff, right? For Glasnow, he grew 11 inches between his freshman and senior year in high school and separated a growth plate in his right shoulder in the process. Ground ball sneaks by Choi, who's in there at first, and it's into right field. He won a silver medal in the high jump in the Junior Olympics. That's pretty good. Now we get into the good stuff. He's a huge fan of gangster rap, and he has a no juice tattoo on the inside of his lip. Oh, look at our research department. Lil Boosie. That's it. A salute to Lil Boosie. Jimmy, familiar with Lil Boosie?
Wipe me down. I'm on. Of course. Come on now, Lil Boosie. Come on now.
You have to make your partner part of the stories.
No doubt about it.
How about this? As a young teen, he once threw a water balloon from the top of a Subway restaurant and was shocked to learn that one of the balloons hit the local police chief's wife's windshield. That did not work out well for him.
Time out. From the top of where?
A Subway restaurant. Pitch in the dirt, and it bounces away. Guerrero's going to advance. Grichuk at the plate.
The things you do that lead you to the major leagues.
Oh, I'm not done yet.
Oh, wow. It gets better.
Tyler keeps a Wi-Fi powered toaster oven in his locker and uses it to cook small meals. He also owns essentially everything he owns essentially fits in one suitcase. He doesn't like to stay in the same place for that long. And so that's the best hits. I mean, there's other stuff. He was in the Scouts, stuff like that, but that's all part of his lore. And he throws gas too, even if the Wi-Fi microwave is ready to go. 99, 98. One of the best hooks. Second toughest in terms of that pitch, swing and miss. Grichuk grinding out this at bat. 1-2. Swing, miss. First base occupied. So the throw down to get the out.
Take a look at this Uncle Charlie. I mean, he's had that pitch for the strikeout going all night, and especially Grichuk. He doesn't seem to see it at all. He swung over the top of a few of them. And when he gets ahead, you know it's coming. When a pitcher has a good curveball or a good anything, good breaking ball, you can know it's coming and still look silly at the plate swinging at it.
97 on the black. Teoscar Hernandez is singled and struck out. Strikeouts per 9 innings. Look at that. That's a pretty good list to be on top of, right?
I mean, I'd say so.
That one foul back and out of play. Six strikeouts, a walk. Blue Jays have 2 runs. They've both come from the 9 spot. Catcher Danny Jansen with solo homers. He buries a breaking ball. Maybe it's not a surprise that Glasnow went to the same high school as Trevor Bauer, because Bauer's a little eccentric too. Or maybe a strong individual is a way to say that. Pitch is outside.
I mean, maybe Trevor, you know, sent the signal down. Hey, this is tradition. We go up on top of Subway restaurants with water balloons, and we throw them at passerby cars.
Or into the fountain in Kansas City, as he did. Jam shot. Got right in on the hands. This has been a tough ride for the Blue Jay hitters, except for Jansen. Not a lot of barrels. And now, look, going back to last night, one of the impressive things about the Blue Jays is they barreled some balls up late in that ball game against Nick Anderson, who is one of the toughest relievers in the American League. As you pointed out, a foot or two either way, and the Blue Jays not only tie that game, but could possibly win that game with those line drives with runners in scoring position. But here in this one, Glasnow has been in control. Guerrero at second. Whew. 97 at the knees, and that expression from Hernandez says it all. You can see contestants win a fortune by ranking other people's misfortune. The hit series, the Misery Index, is back, hosted by the stars of Impractical Jokers and Jamila Jamil. The Misery Index. All new episodes kick off Tuesday, October 20th on TBS. American League Division Series, American League Championship Series on TBS. Division Series starts on Monday. Shaw swings and fouls it off. And much of our crew is already bubbling, so to speak, and quarantining and entering the bubble down in Southern California. San Diego and Los Angeles are the sites for the Division Series. So Don Orsillo and Brian Anderson, Ron Darling, Jeff Francoeur, all ensconced, I'm sure, in very comfortable environments. The spa treatments for Orsillo in the next days ahead, that may take a bite out of the budget, but it's worth it. He's got the $1 million smile.
Oh, I could use a spot treatment. I tell you what, if this game ends this way, it's going to be a whole bunch of Blue Jays getting spot treatments. I know that much. The season-long road trip.
This is
not having a home. I mean,
there was today I heard LeBron James talking about what it's been like in the bubble of the NBA and the psychological hurdles you have to get over or under or through. The Blue Jays have had to do that all year long. They haven't had a home. They've had to play other places. Their home ballpark is not in their home. They've been in hotels for like 3 months. They spent the first 3 weeks of the season all quarantined because of a COVID outbreak. Nobody wanted them, right? They wanted to play at PNC, couldn't do it. Wanted to play at Camden Yards?
Nope.
How about Dunedin?
Nope.
How about Spring Training? No.
Not even.
So Buffalo opened their arms, their AAA ballpark. They had to bring the lights from the Field of Dreams field from Iowa to upgrade the lights in Buffalo. And that's a beautiful ballpark to begin with. And that's where they were home. Glasnow misses. And they've got a second-year manager who's done a wonderful job. A guy that was raised across the diamond in the Tampa Bay organization, beloved by a lot of the Rays players who are on the field right now, who played for him. He was on Kevin Cash's staff before he got the job in Toronto. High fastball. Glasnow finishes off Shaw. 8-2 still. Bottom of the 6th in St. Pete. If needed, tomorrow, Game 3 of the American League Wild Card Series, 4 Eastern, Jays, Rays. Here at the Trop, you can check out the full schedule of postseason action at MLB.com. Toronto's going to need some runs to get to tomorrow. Tampa Bay up 8-2. Arozarena. And a strike from Anthony Bass, who comes in. Arozarena, what a series so far. Single, double, double in this game. Tripled yesterday. Oakland has just finished off the White Sox 5-3. So that series will go to a deciding Game 3 in Jimmy Rollins' backyard as a kid. The Oakland Alameda County Coliseum tomorrow. This guy, and I know it's a small sample size, as you look at Bass, one of the really good arms out of the Blue Jays pen. He has closed games. The man at the plate, Randy Arozarena, I think in the next year or two is going to blow up. If you look at what he's done, he really opened their eyes in the spring. Ray's pen, the lefty loop. Arozarena has played in 23 games. That's it. He started the season on the IL with COVID, so a slow start there. But his numbers are like video game numbers. He has a great bat speed like that. He hit 281. His on base was 382. His slugging percentage 641. His OPS was over 1,000. And in this series, 4 for 7, 2 doubles and a triple.
There's a lot to like about this kid. Good speed, good bat speed. You know the power is going to come. You don't have bat speed and no power. Those two things don't go together. Learning how to get the ball in the air consistently without losing that bat speed, and do everything else. Continue to learn the game, continue to pay attention and develop as a player. There's a lot to like about this kid.
Was with the Cardinals last year, had a broken hand last year. Pitches out. So you saw Loop, and we just saw Glasnow as well, so he may be done. Arozarena is running it to 3-2. And if it is the end of the line for Glasnow, it's got to feel good because he got knocked around in the postseason last year. Ball in the dirt. And Arozarena, who's got a good eye at the plate, walks. Glasnow lost games 1 and 5 in that division series, a tight one, to Houston last year. So to get a postseason win, now there's a lot of outs to get, but he's put his club in a really good position. There's Lau. Be interested to see if Arozarena might run here. I mean, it's a postseason game. You're not thinking
the score doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nope.
And
go get it.
6 runs anyways in the regular season. You're still running.
And it's only the 6th inning. Usually the running game stops, depending on the floor of the game, around the 7th inning. For sure in the 8th. But around the 7th inning, that's we might want to call the guys off. But in the 6th inning, you're for sure running. In the postseason, there are no such rules. There are no such rules.
He's 4 of 4 in stolen bases, has a small lead, and Lau takes away. touched on it yesterday. This guy is a star. All-star last year. Was third in the Rookie of the Year voting. 14 homers. 362 on base. His slugging in the mid 500s. It's funny, and I waited before I sprung this on you. In talking to Kevin Cash yesterday, talking about Brandon Lowe, and someone brought up a comp comparing him to a player of another era, and that player was Chase Utley. And Cash said, yes, that's a great comp because he does a lot of the things that Utley did. Now, Utley has had a long career and all that, and Lau's just getting going. That's high praise.
That's a good start. That's a very good start.
Now, you've seen him for 7 at bats,
right?
And you've watched him on television. What do you think about this guy?
I mean, when you look at the numbers, I mean, he's everything that you can ask of a young player. He's disciplined. He can hit. He can hit for power. He plays the game right. You know, I'm not in the clubhouse with him. A lot of us aren't. We don't know his mentality. But when he's in that box, just as Chase was, when he stepped in between those white lines, it was game on. It's what do I need to do to win the game? He thinks his way around the game. He sees situations. I'm sure he's in there talking to guys, you know, encouraging them, pushing them to go forward. Bats left-handed. Can hit lefties.
Yes, very well.
All those things that Chase was able to do.
And he is running. The throw's in time. And he's out at second base. So Rosarena, for the first time this year, caught stealing. And a good throw by Jansen. And it was a called strike 3. So it's a strike him out, throw him out. Now Rosarena kind of took his foot off the pedal there.
And had a small lead. I mean, I understand it's a 3-2 run, but you have to treat that as a stolen base. Everything's the same. You don't give in. You do take a peek over your shoulder, but you're trying to get to that bag. You're trying to get to that bag.
Diaz now, and Anthony Bass throws a strike. One of the real intriguing parts of the postseason, with all the wild card series going on today and tonight, is that nobody has played outside of their corridor. The schedule, the 60-game schedule, was all East and Central and West. And so this is the only series against teams from the same division in the 8, the Jays and the Rays, and they've played just tight meat grinder games all season long. This is an aberration of the 11 previous meetings this year. And so it's hard to say, are the Dodgers as good as their record? How about the Rays? I mean, the American League East is really good. The National League East had some disappointments. Your Phillies did not represent. The Nationals, the defending champs, it's just off the plate. So when you venture out to play the Central, they haven't seen you. You haven't seen them. Or the West.
Well, I think the teams that were at the top of their division, you look at power rankings, they take everything into consideration. And those teams are really good. Obviously, we know the Dodgers. They've been good for a long time. The Rays have been exceptional these last 3 years, although they haven't gotten credit. There are teams in the Central that has traditionally not been the strongest division, whether it's AL or NL. So those teams get overlooked. But you have the Indians there back in 2016, which wasn't too long ago. So you don't know what you're going to get as far as that goes, how we get the traditional look at teams versus other teams in other divisions. But there are teams that you look at, regardless of whether it's, you know, playing in the corridor, the whole East, the whole Central, the whole West, that you can tell are a great baseball team. The Dodgers are definitely one of those teams.
And we know that a lot of you baseball fans and sports fans are tuning in and out of games, checking it out with 8 games today. The schedule tonight, Game 2, Yankees won big. Stanton went deep. Maybe that gets him going. That was late in last night's game. And the Brewers and the Dodgers in Game 1, all the National League games, Game 1. Joey Wendell is in to pinch run for the Rays. The finals today, Oakland held on and beat the White Sox 5-3. Miami, anytime the Marlins go to Wrigley Field, Cub fans feel uneasy. 5-1. Miami beat the Cubs. They lead the series 1-0. Minnesota hasn't won a postseason game since 2004, and Houston swept them 3-1 today to win that series. The Reds and Atlanta played the longest scoreless game in Major League history today in postseason. 12.5 scoreless innings. Freddie Freeman knocked in the game winner, a walk-off in the bottom of the 13th, 1-0. Atlanta beat Cincinnati. Reds wasted a great Trevor Bauer start. Cardinals 6-3 now, bottom of the 3rd. That's in San Diego. And here, boy, a tight, tension-filled game yesterday. And a big 7-run inning in the second with 2 home runs. This guy has been a hero. Manuel Margot. The 2-run homer yesterday, RBI single today. Anthony Bass working on Margot. As we told you earlier about Margot, his night even sweeter last night. Bitter, certainly, the loss of his father to COVID. His teammates pulling him through. Just 1 home run all year, and last night a 2-run shot. That was the difference. Now, the home run was sweet. It was a big moment, but the reception by his teammates in the dugout was really special.
He did everything right. Got a ball he can drive, and he did not miss it. But this is the best part. Not that you hit a home run, but this part right here. That's a brotherhood. That is a brother. That's your family. They embrace you. They've lifted you up all year long, and you did something to return that favor.
And that was Willie Adames, the guy that was his workout part that really helped pull him through. As Margot bounces out, Rays are done in the 6th. You're watching the 2020 American League Wild Card Series on TBS, presented by Hankook Tire. (8-2) Tampa Bay on top. They have a 1-0 lead in this best of 3. And so they need some outs here. They need 9 outs to get themselves into the bubble and into the division series. Aaron Loop takes over. Tyler Glasnow went 6. Joey Wendell stays in. He's at 3rd base. He pinch hit, or actually pinch ran for Yandy Diaz. Loop a sidearm fastball. There's a strike to Joe Panik. Danny Jansen and Kevin Biggio. 8-9-1 in the order for the Blue Jays. And Loop has had a really nice year. You could say that a lot about the Blue Jays bullpen. There's a lot of guys down there that have had, or excuse me, the Rays bullpen that have had nice years. And that should help them certainly if they do move on. Well, you got a couple of right-handers. Nick Anderson is one of those guys. Anderson went 29 pitches yesterday. Breaking ball misses out.
Now, yesterday, those 29 pitches that Anderson threw, is that the most he's thrown in an inning?
Yes.
Which is puzzling me to why he would even be up tonight,
well,
especially at an 8-2 ball game. I know we have days off, but
in a right field, I don't know that the Blue Jays are done yet, and it's a chance to win the series. And as they move on, Jimmy, there's no off days.
Right.
Here's a Joe Panic turning on an inside fastball. So when you get to the division series and you get to the ALCS, and obviously the Rays are hopeful that they do, you're going to have to go back to back a few times. So maybe he's testing that arm, or Kevin Cash said before the game he was going to talk to him and see if he was ready and could go. If you're just joining us, Toronto has 2 runs, and those 2 runs are about 840 feet of Danny Jansen, the number 9 hitter, who came in hitting just $183, but now has 2 homers in this game. He had 6 homers in the regular season. He crushed 2 balls. And here's the evidence, the empirical evidence. One blasted off a catwalk, the other into the seats. 438 and about 400 on the second. And Jimmy, I think that's one of the reasons that Anderson is up, is one swing and suddenly it's closer. And you've got the other part is they like to deploy him strategically. You've got the top of the order up next. This one's going to stay in the yard. Renfroe. Now, at the start of the series, we talked about all the famous fathers of Blue Jays. And, I mean, Hall of Fame players. The father of Kevin Biggio is Craig Biggio. He's in the Hall of Fame. Vlad Guerrero Jr., his dad in the Hall of Fame. Bo Bichette's dad had an outstanding Major League career.
Yes, he did.
And all those guys are young and hungry and really good. And here's a look. And don't forget Travis Shaw, whose dad, Jeff Shaw, pitched in the big leagues. And we don't have Lourdes Gurriel on there. His dad, Lourdes Gurriel Sr., was an absolute international legend playing for Team Cuba. So that's 5 guys that grew up with their fathers being prominent baseball people. And there is Dante. You mentioned Pedro Martinez early in the telecast.
Yeah.
Friend of the show. Also the babysitter for Travis Shaw. He was Jeff Shaw's teammate in Montreal. And he babysat for him. How's that?
That's an awesome story.
There you go.
Just to be fortunate enough to have a father in a big league, grew up in big league clubhouses.
And your baby, what kind of babysitter do you think Pedro
You have a Hall of Fame babysitter. How about that?
Right.
You get to say that. Yeah, I used to play catch with that guy. I taught him his changeup.
That's strike 3 call. Biggio called out on strikes, and there's 2 outs. Kevin Cash on his way out. He's going to mix and match here. And we'll step aside and see which direction he's headed. 8-2 right now. Rays on top of the Blue Jays. Bleacher Report app. Join a community of fans. Connect with friends and follow scores from around the league. Download the BR app today. You always get such great sunsets down here on the west coast of Florida. Ryan Thompson out of the bullpen. Thompson, the 28-year-old, out of Turner, Ohio. Guy that made 25 appearances out of the bullpen. One of 13 relievers to have a save this year, a major league record. 12 in the regular season. And then Pete Fairbanks yesterday became the 13th Ray to have a save. That's in 61 games. It's crazy.
That's amazing.
It is. That's a testament to the depth and the quality of the bullpen. Bo Bichette's in, and Bichette shoots that one foul. Toronto looking for any kind of spark. They need runs, obviously. Down 6 with 2 outs here. Charlie Montoyo's club can put runs together in bunches, as they did down the stretch, especially when they were home in their home park this year in Buffalo. And I don't think the Blue Jays are going to go anywhere or go away for the next few years. This is going to be a good team for a while. Bichette's just 22. Biggio's young. Vladdy's 21. 8-2 Rays. MLB celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month by recognizing the contributions made to our game by the Latino baseball community, past and present. Follow Las Mayores at MLB and visit lasmayores.com for full coverage. Tom Hatch, he of the good changeup, is in. Fine season for Hatch. Hunter Renfroe sent a shockwave through this ball game with a grand slam that cracked it wide open. That was in a 7-run second for the Rays. Excuse me, a 6-run second. They added one the next inning, Jimmy. I jumped ahead.
And just even looking back to that inning, Zunino started off with a 2-run home run. That seemed big, like that might be enough. And then you had this on top. It made Zunino's home run seem like it was a year ago. And Hunter, that's why they brought him here, to be a power bat. He did the same thing in San Diego. First grand slam in the Rays history.
In postseason.
Postseason history, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just things that aren't expected out of this lineup. Not that they can't. If you have a bat in your hand, you can hit a ball out the yard. That's just not something that they sat there and looked forward to each and every game. Who's going to hit a home run? They find ways to manufacture runs, and today manufacture runs meant hitting home runs.
That's another thing to keep in mind in the postseason. When you look at players and you look at their average, you say, man, he's had a tough year. It's been 2 months. It's been 60 games.
Yeah.
I mean, the Anthony Rizzos or the Christian Yelich's. Renfroe's a type of guy, too. You say, boy, he's had an awful year. Well, many times a guy will have 2 bad months and then put it in gear and end up with a terrific season of 150 games or whatever.
Yep.
So don't discount guys that have struggled this year in the postseason. Willy Adames now. Adames, one of those young players, and you hear scouts and general managers talk about this, when you project a player that you draft or sign, and that you say the power will come. And for Adames, that's happening. He's gone from 10 homers, last year 20 homers, and this year in just 54 games, 8 homers. Hatch gets in on him. Biggio across, and there's 2 outs. And that brings up Kiermaier. The other thing to think about in this postseason, Jimmy Rollins, you had in your career a great home field advantage. Citizens Bank Park was a terrific boiling pot of intensity and fun. Nobody has that this year.
Nope.
That's why I think you see a lot of the road teams in these wild card series, not in this one, but in others that have come in and won early games. And there may be some fans later in the bubble, in the division series or LCS, but there isn't going to be a home field advantage.
No, there isn't. There's a different pressure playing in front of the other team's home crowd. And the advantage goes to you playing in front of your home crowd. You feed off that energy. Your ballpark, especially as Citizens, it's an intimate ballpark. The fans are on top of you. So anything they say, it's literally on the back of your neck. You can hear it. You act like you don't, you black out, but you can hear it. Those are things that make the playoffs great. Is that when you're playing at home, they know they're on the road. The fans make sure they know that.
Nice and tidy inning for Tom Hatch. 1, 2, 3. Go the Rays. 8-2 still, Tampa Bay.
Card Series on TBS is presented by Hankook Tire. Never halfway.
If the Jays can get off the canvas tomorrow, Game 3 will be here at 4 Eastern. Wild Card Series at the Trop. You can listen on ESPN Radio as well. And check out the full schedule of postseason action at MLB.com. Rich Waltz along with Jimmy Rollins. We've had fun here for 2 days in St. Pete, in the Trop. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Randall Grichuk. In that order in the 8th. Thompson continues on the mound. If you are the president of baseball operations for the Toronto Blue Jays, Mark Shapiro, or the general manager, Ross Atkins, you have to be tickled with the year that Charlie Montoyo and the Blue Jays have had, because they have turned a big corner. I know it's just 60 games, but they lost 95 games last year. They had not been to the postseason since 2016. You got Bichette, who's 22, Biggio, who's 25, Guerrero, who's 21. Lourdes Gurriel is 26. Alejandro Kirk, that little hitter, is just 21. This is such a talented young nucleus, and they all get along. They play well together. You got to think, Jimmy, this team is just going to get better and better.
You have to love your future. I mean, you brought these guys up understanding when you were going through a rebuild, understanding when they present themselves to be ready to play at this level, and see what we have. And outside of their clubhouse, no one predicted them to be here right now in this wild card series. I'm sure every guy in that clubhouse felt that way. That's how you become successful. That's how you create a new breed of winning, that we believe. And then you go out there and you perform.
That's a foul ball.
And you have a manager in Montoyo who managed himself to 2 AAA championships, who understands the younger players, who's connected, who has seen these guys come up, has been with guys trying to get to the big leagues, trying to prove that they belong. Now they're in the big leagues. Their mentality is still the same. I'm trying to prove I belong. They have a manager who understands what they're going through, who has patience, understanding he has a young team. They're going to make errors. They're going to do things sometimes that make you scratch your head, but they have a bright future.
When did you and Utley and Worth and Ruiz and that group realize that you belonged?
Maybe the end of 2006, for sure 2007. 2005, we were scratching Got knocked out by Houston. I think they were, Houston was playing Pittsburgh, and we're in a clubhouse in D.C. and we're watching a line drive, which we thought was going to be a hit, and Craig Biggio goes up and pulls out the air, and all the air comes out of our clubhouse. But it's like we were that close. Like we had never been that close. 2006 was, I think, pretty much the same thing. We're going down to Miami, and I think it was either 5 or 6. That was the year the Dodgers hit 4 home runs off of Trevor Hoffman, and that eliminated us as we're going to Miami, which is a team that we played very well against. And then the Braves finally lost, the division in 2006. And I'm like, we played the Dodgers very well. What's the difference? I mean, I'm not the Dodgers. We played the Mets very well. We know what it's like to play against the Braves. We know what it's like to play against the Mets. Why can't we do it? The mystique is off. They finally lost. Now that somebody knocked them off, it had to be done. Now it's our turn. And it took that entire season, the way it happened. If it happened any other way, I'm not sure we would have been, as tight as we were. But the way that season happened, we came together, and that's when we believed.
So the value of the Blue Jays getting to the postseason, equivalent to you guys being that close and realizing that you belong?
Yes, definitely. They have a little taste, maybe a little earlier, but right now they're saying we can do this. We're a year in, we're a year and a half in, we're 2 years into our career as a core, and we're already here. We're going to take our lumps. We're still going to do some things that make everyone scratch their head, but we're here. We're close. We can taste it. Now it's about going out and executing it every single day over the course of a long season. They made the playoffs. They're way ahead than where we were, but they're here. And if that growth continues, learning the game, learning how to play the game, when to make the right plays, and what is the right play, they have a bright future.
Grechik takes strike 3 called right down the middle. It's a nice tidy inning from Ryan Thompson. They are here, but maybe not for long. 8-2 Rays. 8-2. Hyun-Jin Ryu wasn't here for long. He just flat did not have it. Tyler Glasnow was impressive.
Couple big hits. I mean, the biggest hit, the grand slam, which just kind of took whatever energy that the Rays or the Jays had. It just blew it out the window. At that point, they understood the mountain that was standing in front of them, not only and the man and Glasnow on the mound, but trying to score 8 runs against this staff. That's a tall task for anyone.
Rafael Dolis delivers a strike. Dolis is the 6th to work, 5th reliever in relief of Ryu. And certainly a disappointing start for Ryu. They were counting on him as their ace to get them even in the series. And of course, Mike Zunino, he didn't take all the air out of the Trop or all the air out of the Blue Jays, but he certainly started it with the 2-run homer. And as you pointed out, Renfroe followed that second inning with a grand slam. And he looks good at the plate. It's a good time for his bat to perk up. Outstanding catcher. So a 2-run homer, a line drive single. And here comes Choi.
Sometimes it only takes one good swing. It doesn't have to be a home run. It doesn't have to be a single. You can foul a ball straight back and find your swing, and your eyes get big. Everything, your body starts saying yes. Now all I need is the right pitch again, and hopefully have success. And his home run and now a single for a guy who hasn't hit all year long. Although it's a short season, this is a great time to get hot. Get more at bats. Obviously, he's going to play, but you keep doing this. Those unsung heroes of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Joe Madden made his mark here. The poster child for it was Ben Zobrist, and that's versatility. Play him anywhere, and he produces offensively. This might be the most versatile roster in all of baseball, and they all can play. They all have skills. They all contribute. It's one of those teams where you're never sure what the lineup's going to look like, where guys are going to hit depending on the pitching matchup. Are you going to stack it with righties like they did against Ryu? And that certainly worked. Talking to people around the Rays as well, they will tell you this is a really good clubhouse. And Kevin Cash today was asked about the clubhouse, and he said, clubhouse, I don't even go in the clubhouse. That's their place. I stay away from the clubhouse. They have a really nice vibe. I'm not going anywhere near that. That is theirs. Choi with the count 2-2. Margot
enjoying the music.
Big series. They do not give MVPs of the wild card series. I mean, we can name a unofficial MVP. Maybe give them an autographed Gucci sandal from Jimmy Rollins. Nice pick there. Bichette will turn it. That was Biggio over his old second base spot that made the play. Yeah, I think on MLB.com you can find the Jimmy Rollins Gucci sandals.
Signature edition.
Signature edition. You can find a lot of other things. Caps, tees, jerseys, hoodies, and more. Postseason gear. Cheer on your team. MLBshop.com. I got to hang with you more often because I'm picking up fashion tips, pop culture references. You helped me with little Boosie. Rosa Reina. And Dolis with a breaking ball for a strike. Dolis, you saw the numbers. The year has been terrific. A 1.50 ERA. This is a guy that pitched for 4 years as a closer in Japan. The Hanshin Tigers. He had not pitched in the big leagues since the 2013 Cubs. He was in the minor leagues for 2 years, then went to Japan for 4 seasons. Had about 100 saves and an ERA of 2.5. And it speaks to the level of baseball over in Asia, both in Korea, and we've seen a lot of that this year, right? With the late night, early morning games. Boog Shambi and Eduardo Perez and all those guys
late nights
getting into the Korean
nights.
League. We discovered the great bat flips of Korea.
Love them.
There should be a calendar.
I absolutely love them.
Bat flips of
absolutely
of
love
Korea.
them.
That's
even on singles. They take it and they just flip that thing.
If you're bored one night, just Google bat flips in Korea, and there's like hours and hours of endless bat flips of guys hitting warning track balls, and they flip their bats in the air. It's awesome. But the level of play in Korea has really risen in the last 10, 15 years.
And the number of Americans that, especially this season, that went over there to play.
Yeah, Dan Straley in particular is having a great year over there. And the level of play in Japan, and having gone over there a couple times for the World Baseball Classic, the pitching, the hitting. Tsutsugo, of course, has been in the leadoff spot a lot for the Rays. Rosa Reina knows it. What international baseball is about. He's played 2 years professionally in Cuba, his native country. That's a defensive swing.
Get off me, ball.
That shatters the bat. And the Rays are done in the 8th. 3 outs away from the bubble. 3 outs away from the division series are the Rays. Last swings for the Blue Jays. And this young team in 2020. Farther than anybody expected, but they're down to their last 3 outs. And they need some magic here, and they're facing one of the most intimidating arms in the American League. We saw him yesterday, Nick Anderson, and he wasn't his sharpest. He really didn't get knocked around, but he gave up some hits and he threw 29 pitches. So Kevin Cash has him back out there maybe to sort of get back up on the horse and finish this, the 9th inning. Teoscar Hernandez, lefty bat, and Travis Shaw, another lefty bat, and Joe Panik. And a 4 outfield alignment for the Rays. We've been waiting for them to break this out, and here it is. Hernandez fouls it back. The Rays are as progressive as they come, and defensively, as we noted, they are 2nd in the American League in defensive runs saved, which is a metric that measures run prevention. And Kevin Cash said today that's what we value, is run prevention. Slow tapper to short, and with 4 outfielders you get a ground ball to short.
Playing in traditional shortstop position on top of that. What do you know?
Well, the Rays look like they're going to win this game. They might run into the Yankees again, and when they last saw each other, Brasso getting out of the way of triple-digit heat. He would homer twice the next day, but that brought the Rays dugout out, the Yankees dugout out, and that really infuriated the manager of the Rays. Kevin Cash, the next day, kind of threw down the gauntlet and said, you know, just a reminder, I got a whole stable full of guys who throw 98. The bullpen enjoyed that. They had shirts and hats and everything that they brought out with a stable full of guys that throw 98. But there's some good animus there. That series this year, in 10 games, the Rays beat the Yankees 8 times, and they were meat grinder games. And that's how the Rays handle their business. They won 5 of 6 away, 3 of 4 at home, and obviously if they meet, it will be in the bubble on a neutral field. And here is Panik. Anderson's fastball is up. An out away from a series sweep. On the ground. This will do it, and the Rays win it. They advance to the division series. They sweep the Toronto Blue Jays. Unlikely heroes. You know what? That's how the Rays roll. No pun intended, Jimmy. But every game it's somebody different. Manuel Margot yesterday. Mike Zunino, Hunter Renfroe today. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, it hurts now, but they'll come away with some pretty positive feelings about this season. This was impressive.
Yeah, can't talk enough about those young guys over there, but the Rays, this is something they've been doing for a few years now. And you know, you look at the bottom of their lineup, 5 through 9, the production that they had there, and in any lineup, you usually don't count on those guys to play this big of a role, but this is postseason baseball. There is not one guy in this lineup that you are going to zero out. They all play a role, and when it's your turn to do something, just do it. It's not how many you get, but when you get them.
Tampa Bay wins it. When we return, we're going down to the field. We'll talk to some of the Tampa Bay Rays about this sweep, about the next rounds. Mike Zunino set the tone with the 2-run homer. Hunter Renfroe with a grand slam. And the Rays advance. They'll get the Yankees or the Indians. They are deep. They are very good. Back to St. Pete after this.